State rivals collide at the Holman Center in Terre Haute, Indiana. The Purple Aces coming in looking for the season sweep. The Sycamores looking to split the series on the season. My name is Landon Kleindorfer. With me, Kelsey Casper. Kelsey, both of these teams trying to make their way up the standings as we get closer and closer to tournament time.
Exactly. Two teams who have already faced each other once this season, and two evenly matched teams, both sitting at 4 and 6 in the conference. They have struggled with staying consistent so far during this season, but they're looking to hit that peak at the right point in the final stretch of the season ahead of the conference tournament.
The tail of the tape is not much different, but we take a look. 3 weeks ago, these two teams matched up. You see Chelsea Kane right there getting her 1,000th career point as a NCAA basketball player, but Evansville was really just fantastic in those second and third quarters. They went on a huge run.
Yeah, 20-4 run to be exact. So despite that Sycamore early lead, they just couldn't pull themselves out of that deficit.
And you see the final score, 65-55. Chelsea Kane and Deljanae Williams put in work for the Sycamores, but it was Maya Clark, Kennedy Mason-Stuyvesant who really outperformed the Sycamores there in Evansville. But some impressive players so far in this game. Bella Finnegan with 17, McLeod with 12. Is that shot no good? The Sycamores trailing by 1 have a chance to take the lead. McKendry gets the screen from Kane. She has been relatively silent, only 3 points in this game. It's Williams with 10 seconds on the shot clock, gives it to Anderson. Now Kane, just north of the free throw line, steps up, can't get it to go. She likes that mid-ranger, but it has not been falling for her today. She was the catalyst for Indiana State against UIC when they played up in the Chicago area, as that one's taken away. Now Williams with it. Slows the pace. McKendry wanted the shot, didn't take it. That was something you would typically see her take.
Yeah, surprised McKendry didn't take that. She had the open look.
Williams gets the screen. Drives between two players and somehow gets it to go with a little bit of English.
That one high up the glass right there. Just floated it up. Able to make a big-time bucket, take the lead here.
I mean, you can see the rotation on the ball. I'm not really sure how she did that, but pretty incredible stuff as that gives Indiana State the lead. Jackson with it, gives it to Young. Trying to feed it down low. Westerfeld does a nice job to force it outside. The shot, no good. Anderson with it. Anderson taking her time. Guarded by Middleton. Now a drive to the basket, off the glass, won't go, but 2 free throws coming up for the Sycamores.
Yeah, we've seen Caitlin Anderson commanding the ball a little bit more, driving pretty fearlessly through the paint a couple of times. She does it right here. We saw at the end of the third quarter, just barely missing a bucket, but they are trying the contact. She'll head to the free throw line. A couple times we've seen her do it today.
And, you know, to me, I think that the game plan for Coach Killinger seems pretty obvious now. You saw how many three-pointers they were taking in the first half. They took 14 three-pointers. Now they've only taken 4 here in the second half. I think that they really wanted to spread that offense and make sure that they would be able to attack at the basket in the second half. That's exactly why we're seeing more free throws now than we did and less three-pointers. They have been going straight at the hoop in the second half. It's going to be a 6-point win for UIC, their first victory here at the Holman Center.
Yeah, great game from both of these teams. It was neck and neck almost the entire way, but in the final minute, UIC taking the edge, gaining that lead by 6, and like you said, first win in the Holman Center.
Early fouls seemed to be the problem for the Sycamores, and then they just couldn't find the basket that mattered there towards the end. It ended up being a free throw game. UIC, big victory here as they try to move up in the standings for the Missouri Valley Conference. So for Kelsey Casper, I am Landon Kleindorfer. Also a big thank you to our producer-director, Eric Mangum, saying so long from the Holman Center, where the final score, 56-50, UIC pulls off the road victory. All games airing on the ESPN networks or streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Enjoy the rest of the first day of the rest of your life, and have a fantastic Sunday afternoon. A midweek in-state rivalry matchup. Indiana travels up from Bloomington to Terre Haute here at Bob Warren Field to take on the 14-12 Indiana State Sycamores. Bound to be a good one. My name's Landon Kleindorfer. With me, Jeremy Lucas. Jeremy, you know a little bit about baseball. You know a little bit about playing with Indiana State. This Sycamore squad, they have played so well. They've had a very tough schedule.
Yeah, always a little bit of added pressure and pride when that crimson red is out on your home field. So Indiana State really looking to even out the series today. Unfortunately, the game last time they played IU did not go in their favor, so they're looking to even out that series today.
Yeah, 25th in RPI right now, and that just shows how tough they have really made their schedule thus far. As we take a look at how the rest of the conference, including Indiana State, has gone up against those Big Ten schools. 12-9 right now. They've pretty much all tried to boost that strength of schedule. The Sycamores are 2-4 versus the Big Ten this season. One more game here against IU, and then they will play against Purdue and Illinois. But let's go ahead and take a look at it. You kind of teased it, that Indiana versus Indiana State game down in Bloomington. The Sycamores able to tie it up in the top of the 7th, but then the Hoosiers put up 11 runs in the bottom. Another 2-2, this time swung on, and a strikeout for Holy Cross to retire the side. The Sycamores will go back into the dugout having given up no runs and looking to put one up. When we come back for the bottom of the third, you're watching the Valley on ESPN. Back here at Bob Warren Field, it's a good one so far, but goose eggs for both teams. Indiana, few hits. Indiana State has gotten on base from walks, but nobody has been able to break that threshold.
It's been a fun one to watch so far. Neither team been able to execute of actually getting somebody across the plate. Indiana State used to scoring runs pretty consistently, so let's see if they can scratch one across here.
Well, first pitch, not too promising. That one goes well outside, makes its way to the backstop. No harm, no foul. Nobody's moving, but Luis Hernandez at the plate, and that one dropped as well, but it is strike one. One count here from Katsky. And it'll go for ball number 2. So that one swung on, sent towards left, and it stays in. Home run. First run of the game for the Sycamores. A big shot from Luis Hernandez.
What a swing. Ready for that fastball. As soon as he made contact, he knew it. He watched it the whole time.
It's the second home run of the season for Hernandez. We were talking about how good Grant McGill is at the catcher position. Luis Hernandez is the backup for them. He's so good at hitting that they have to keep him in the lineup for reasons just like this. As a designated hitter, he does exactly what he's supposed to.
Sycamores are on the board in Sycamore fashion with a home run.
Every single person in the lineup has gone yard already this season. And now with that, Josue Urdaneta, the only player in the lineup who doesn't have at least 2 home runs.
And that's one, I don't care where the wind's blowing. That's getting out of here. He crushed that ball.
Miguel Rivera now up to the plate as he takes ball number 2. He's 0 for 1 today. So they call that one a strike at the knees inside, just hits the corner.
One thing I've noticed with Cooper Katsky, he really slows his arm down on those off-speed pitches. So if that's something Indiana State can pick up, gives them a real advantage.
Here is the 2-2. This one's sent towards right field, and it's going to stay down. Rivera heading for second. And it'll be a stand-up double for Miguel Rivera, so the bat's getting hot here for the Sycamores.
Yeah, that IU pin, quick to acknowledge it's getting active again. Pitch look a little bit down, but those lefties love those down and in fastballs. Great job staying down on that by Rivera there.
Now Keegan Watson comes up, 11 RBIs on the season and a runner in scoring position here. No outs yet here on the Sycamores. 1 run put up so far.
Watson almost tasted it that last at bat, just came up a little short. I'm sure he's looking to do some damage here.
Now this one popped up high in the air. Taylor is able to come in on it and make the play. So Watson goes down twice on balls hit high in the air. Jesse down to 1 strike. Swing and a miss, and that will do it. Jared Spencer strikes out Jesse to finish it off. The Sycamores win it 4-0.
What a game for the Sycamores' confidence. No runs to these Hoosiers that have been hitting the ball well.
And it really was a testament to the defense for the Sycamores.
Yeah, how do you pick a play of the game today, man? There's about 5 or 6 of them.
Well, we do have the one Epic Insurance play of the game. That double play really wasn't that long ago. It was a snag from Diaz, and then Josue Urdaneta comes across to secure the double play. Just an unbelievable leap right there to make the play. Epic Insurance, operating as one Epic company. You can find information about our shared capabilities and the additional resources available to our clients on epicbrokers.com. Jeremy Lucas, final thoughts.
Awesome win for the Sycamores to tie up the series, and I love to see it against these IU Hoosiers. And got some momentum going into this next weekend of conference play. They've done a good job so far. I'm sure they're looking to keep those bats hot and keep that pitching staff rolling.
Sycamores move to 15-12. Indiana falls to 20-9. So for Jeremy Lucas, our producer Cassie Wade, and director Eric Mangum, I am Landon Kleindorfer saying so long from Bob Warrenfield, where the final score, the Sycamores win it 4-0. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Enjoy the rest of the first day of the rest of your life, and have a great evening. We've reached the latter stages of homecoming weekend here in Terre Haute, Indiana. It is the Indiana State Sycamores playing host to the Drake Bulldogs. Right now, the Drake Bulldogs looking pretty good in conference. They've got on a small streak as of late. My name's Landon Kleindorfer, and with me, as always, Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian, right now, Drake Bulldogs looking pretty good.
Drake Bulldogs on a hot streak, and they look to continue that into today's matchup. Indiana State, homecoming weekend, looking to carry that energy in today's match.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights from those 2 games. We'll start it off with Drake. They took on Evansville, and they got the job done in 3 sets.
Yeah, although it was a 3-set match, talking with Coach, it was a hard-fought 3-set match. Almost 2 of those matches went up to 27. Evansville actually had the game point on a couple of those matches, but Drake pulled away, come up north a little bit, now taking on Indiana State.
And on the Evansville side of things, you saw it, Alondra Vasquez ends up being the all-time kills leader in Evansville history. Congratulations to her. On to yesterday evening's matchup with Indiana State and Northern Iowa. Indiana State gets swept in this one, but man, they looked hot at the beginning of each and every one of those sets.
Yeah, like you had just mentioned, the first 2 sets, they took the lead. They just couldn't hold on to the lead, and they got swept, although they played a great game. Speaking with Ashley Pritchard, she wants that same energy today. And you take a look at the box score, Karina Gold just 1 kill shy of a double-double.
Yeah, and Taylor Alden, 37 assists in that one. And we take a look at the in-game stat leaders. Emma Kalin, she is hitting .471 right now. Laura Schutman with 16 kills. She's been getting the ball an absolute ton in this game. You can really tell that they rely on her to get those kills. The blocks, Allie Peterson has 4 of the team's 9. And of course, Melina Tedros going to lead in digs. She's got 17 right now. She's being helped out by the team though. Emma Kalin with 11, Shelton with 7, Gilly with 8. So there's a lot of players getting it done on the defensive end for Indiana State. The problem right now is plays like we just saw before the timeout, where they're allowing too much space, too many creases, and Belmont is taking advantage. Coming out of the timeout, going to be a serve from Godfrey. Hamilton with a big shot. Keller able to slide through and keep that ball alive. As once again, same spot, opposite side of the net, and the Sycamores lose that point.
Big block from Belmont to kind of start that rally right there, and the block came before this, but a nice job from Belmont on the defensive end. And talking about the blocks, they did not have a lot in set number 2. They picked it up here in the last 2 sets.
Keller with a big shot right there. Nice sliding play by McBride as she dives for the dig. Brown is denied, a solo block for Kristen Clemens, and now it is set point.
Belmont's been picking up defensively on the blocks and on the digs as well, showing that they're not going to give in too easily. Now they're in a position for set point.
No mistakes now from Indiana State. As Kalen sets up Hamilton. Big shot right there. McBride able to track it down. And that one came a little crooked off the arm, but it works out for Belmont Bruins as they are able to pick up the victory in set number 3. We move on to set 4. Belmont leads it 2-1, and we'll be right back here for set number 4. You're watching The Valley on ESPN. Typically, you might be nervous with a freshman, but Cadence Gilly's been so great in the service area for the Sycamores thus far, as that is a big play. Cadence Gilly not able to get to that one, and so now it's going to be match point for the Evansville Purple Aces. And for a second there, I looked up at Coach Morales. I thought he was arguing, ready to challenge, and I remembered that they're the ones who got the point.
I thought he'd get at least one more in this game.
Rough serves, back set, Surrey, and it is out of play. The Purple Aces come away with the victory.
A play that worked for Storm Surrey all night long, just goes a little long, and Evansville able to hold out in this one. Hard-fought match between these two.
3-1 does not really tell the story of how good this game was all day long, and it was led by Alondra Vasquez. She ends up being the epic insurance, epic performer of the game. 21 kills, 19 digs, 21.5 points. My goodness, she played so well today. She ends up hitting 260. Just what a day.
So dominant on that offense. You can see why she is one of the best players in this conference. ISU doing a pretty good job of defending, but just not enough to take them down.
The home stretch over for the Sycamores. They end up going 1-2 overall in that stretch, and that will do it. So, for Kelsey Casper, I am Landon Kleindorfer saying so long from the ISU Arena on the campus of Indiana State University, where the final score is a Purple Ace victory, 3-1. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Enjoy the rest of the first day of the rest of your life and have a great evening. Game 2 on the season between in-state rivals. It's the Evansville Purple Aces traveling to Price Field in Terre Haute, Indiana to take on the Indiana State Sycamores. It's looking like it's going to be a good one. The first game already so good between these two teams. My name's Landon Kleindorfer. With me, Kelsey Casper. Kelsey, these teams had great weekends overall, but Evansville able to get the dub, able to win that series.
Yeah, facing Southern Illinois, a solid team in the MVC. They took that series 2-1 after losing the first game 17-1. They gave up 17 runs in that first game, but were able to bounce back in the last two. Sydney Weatherford, the pitcher, coming up with 2 big wins.
Yeah, and you take a look at the scores for those games, like you said, 17-1 in the first one, 8 hits for SIU, but they could not get a run across in game number 3.
Now, for the Sycamores, Indiana State, they don't win their series, but they're able to knock off the Panthers of UNI for the first time this season in conference play.
Yeah, Panthers came into this series undefeated. Indiana State snuck away with a win in Game 2. And it was thanks to Lauren Sackett on the mound. She had a career-tying 11 strikeouts in that game. So even though they lost the series, big momentum for Indiana State to knock off the top team in the MVC.
And the big player for UNI, it was Papillo in game number 3. She had 2 home runs. She went 4 for 4. She gets the newcomer of the week, a big nod for her. But let's see what that did to the standings overall in the Missouri Valley Conference. Indiana State stays true in the same spot that they were before the series started.
Yeah, coming into this game, both of these teams middle upper pack. Indiana State, this is going to be a big game for them to take the series, especially against Evansville. Evansville, big time win like we mentioned against Southern Illinois. That bumped them up a little bit in those rankings.
Benko working her way back in the circle with the 2-1 count. The swing and a miss there brings the count even 2-2.
Gotta wonder if Benko will go the whole game after having high pitch count in the first game of that doubleheader yesterday. But of course she's tough and she can definitely do it if she's able to keep it lower earlier in this game.
And one thing that I mentioned yesterday that really is the difference between these two teams is this one is going to go foul. Indiana State, very quick. They don't typically bring the pitch count up against the teams that they're playing. They might have a lot of hits, but yesterday we saw Lexi Benko had around 112 pitches through the first 7 innings. Meanwhile, Pepkowski was only working with about 87 pitches. But it was a close game. The pitch count didn't really reflect anything on the game. It's just something that Indiana State does. They bat quickly. As this one is going to be grounded out to Grace Hunger, and so 2 seniors get a touch on the ball here for the first 2 outs.
One thing I noticed here today, of course, for Loyola compared to yesterday is they're swinging a lot more. With those 10 strikeouts yesterday, 5 were looking. They know they got to make contact. And, of course, doing it now, just not able to get on base.
And so now it's going to be the designated player, Abby Jacobson. Jacobson, like I talked about, had an incident sliding back into second yesterday in game number 2. She is back today in the designated player role. Benko throws this one low and ties up the count 1-1. And there are certainly some implications here in this game. We talked about the Missouri Valley Conference tournament coming up after this weekend. Well, you look at the conference records, 10-16, 10-15. Loyola Chicago able to win this series. They would tie up the conference records. They would be playing the 10 seed instead of the 9 seed. Regardless, both teams are going to be playing on Thursday.
Yeah, and of course, you look at Indiana State especially, they want to get back on track. They were around 500, still are, but tapered off a little bit as of late. Would like to get back towards there with a win today to go to 24-26.
2-2 count here with 2 down the top of the first. And a swing and a miss. That one's dropped. Tokaric gets the throw out to Henning, and that will do it for the top of the first inning. No run, no hits, no errors, and we head to the bottom of the first. You're watching the Valley on ESPN. 9 home runs as this one gets lined straight to the third baseman, and the throw goes high. Garcia heads to second, and they will eat the throw as Garcia stands on second. So that was a $1 million play right there at third base by Sinskul. The throw was well off.
Yeah, that was a great throw or a great catch there, a great snag. Of course, able to keep it in the infield, but not the right decision there with the throw.
Yeah, and because of the throw, you really end up with the same situation had the ball gone into the outfield. As Lexi Sywick will come up with a runner in scoring position and no outs. She gets the bunt down. It goes straight to Pepkowski. She looks to third, and Garcia was already there. Sywick will be out at first, but she advances the runner here with 1 out and cuts the distance in half for Garcia. And Sywick has been doing that all season long. She's become very good at advancing runners.
You saw that little look from Pepkowski. By the time she looked, Garcia was already behind her. And now Danielle Henning will come up in game 2. She went 1 for 2. We talked about how she's had a decent first 2 games against Loyola Chicago. See if she can continue that. And they will take a quick break to have a conversation in the circle. Danielle Henning, a .256 hitter on the season. And really a big story, the fact that, you know, she wasn't really seeing much time last season. She was a pinch runner for the most part, but now she has really made a splash on this team and has assisted in quite a bit. She's got 5 doubles, 14 RBIs. She's had a nice season here in her sophomore year.
Yeah, and you're hoping that that can continue going forward in the next season. Of course, this season not done yet.
But after the break, it'll be a 1-0 count to Henning. She's looking to add to her RBI totals as Garcia awaits on third base. And we take a look at the scores around the Valley. ISU brought to you by ISU Credit Union, as these are both of these games will be at 12 Central Time. And the Evansville-Valpo game, looking forward to that one. As Valpo, they're towards the bottom, but trying to get a little bit of momentum. Loyola Chicago had a tough time with them in the regular season. And the count 1-1 here with 1 out. Pepkowski's pitch. Henning shows bunt. Fouls it back into the net. So 1-2 count here. Obviously with the 1-2, you don't expect there to be a bunt. That's a nice thing for Loyola. They can take a breath there, step back a little bit. But you know Henning's going to be swinging away as she takes ball 2.
Yeah, and she's dangerous right now. Danielle Henning is, as she's got a 5-game hit streak hit in 7 of her past 8 games.
This one gets flown in the air, and it'll be into the stands. Maybe a Mother's Day souvenir for somebody. So we'll try that one more time. The count stays 2-2. On deck, Abby Chips, then we'll be back to the top of the lineup for Indiana State. Two-two pitch is swung on and just barely hit towards the circle, and instead of going to first to get the out, Pepkowski tries to get it to third. Garcia slides in and she's safe. And now, not really sure what was going on there. Henning took off for second, trying to get into a pickle and possibly score the run. Instead, they will not be fooled. Something we saw actually yesterday happen to Indiana State. Indiana State ended up falling into that trap, trying to get the out at first base. 1 run ended up scoring. And so now Coach Pernicero coming out for a little meeting with the first base umpire. Not sure what this conversation is about, but it will warrant a meeting between the officials. Not sure what they're talking about, but if I had to guess, it has something to do with putting Henning on second base, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure what happened there because we were so focused on Garcia, and curious to see what comes of this. But of course, for Loyola, it's important to hold Garcia at third, not allow her to score the run, but unfortunate you're not able to get the out there at first.
And so an explanation to Coach Pernicero. And it seems like he will be
okay with that decision. Let's see how Loyola Chicago takes it, depending on what it is. And we will try to get it sorted out. And this seemed like a pretty standard operation, as it was a grounder straight to Pepkowski. Instead of throwing the ball to first to get the out, Garcia had stretched herself out from third a little bit. She slides back into third, safe, and now runners on the corners. And it looks like nothing is going to change. So runners on the corners for Indiana State. And Grace Hunger going to come up.
Next up, shortstop.
Hunger, one of the 4 seniors.
Hunger.
18 at bats this season. As this one goes into left field towards the wall, and it is gone. Wow, Grace Hunger hits a home run on the first pitch on senior day, her first home run of the season, not just first home run. It's her first hit of the season.
Talk about a great way to have a senior day as the team's fired up to take a 3-0 lead for Indiana State, thanks to the senior Grace Hunger.
How about a 3-1 blast here in the bottom of the second inning, and a big moment that Grace Hunger will remember forever.
A beautiful afternoon here in Terre Haute, Indiana, as the Drake Bulldogs travel 4 hours to take on the Indiana State Sycamores. Bound to be a good one here, and I tell you what, I'm excited. My name's Landon Kleinorfer. With me, Alan Hellrigel. And Alan, we've already talked about it. It's going to be a good game. Both of these teams trying to move up in the standings.
Yeah, both teams trying to move up. We got a 7 and 8 spot right now, trying to get better positioning for that postseason tournament. So I'm expecting a really exciting game here tonight.
Yeah, and the important thing is we need to take a look at those impact players, the ones that are really going to change the way that this game is looked at. And for Indiana State, it's Josie Bakaitis, it's Anna Holcomb.
Yeah, a 3-5-2 lineup for Coach Hanley. So she's looking for Bakaitis to really step in as one of those 3 center backs and make a huge impact on this game. And Anna Holcomb looking to feed the 4 attackers today with that 3-5-2 lineup.
Now for Drake, it is going to be 2 big players, the goal scorers in their last game, Emma Nagel, Megan Brown. They both had second half goals.
Well, right now, it's you and I trying to find some open space to move the ball up the field. They find it right there, but it's going to be tracked down by Hoffman. 8 minutes to play.
Some nice lead-up plays from you and I. They're finding themselves in triangles, finding easy 1-2 passes, but once they get into that final third and look for that final through ball, they're just not making the right decisions. There's a wide player out on the right. Could have found her crossing into the box, but instead try to go for the heroic pass to the lone striker in the middle that had both Hoffman and the 2 Indiana State center backs completely covering it.
Is this one once again going to go to Hoffman? And a shot right there. Hoffman has to make a diving play. That came out of nowhere. Cannot give up the ball right there in front of goal. And that was just about the opportunity that you and I needed.
Wolf, almost a huge mistake again. Just fell asleep right there. Thought she had more time. Maybe she didn't see the attacker coming on to her, but we'll take another look at it here.
Sophia Meyer just about pulled this one off.
Yeah, just a poor touch from Wolf.
Poor touch from Wolf. Maybe a lack of awareness. You should be getting a call out there from Hoffman that there's a player coming up towards your back. But here comes the cross. This one does stay in play. Goes off the head, and it's going to be a goal. That one looked like a little bit of confusion. Indiana State likes to play the single player in the box, but it's not like she can use her hands on that play. So she knew she had to get out of the way. She couldn't get her body out of the way. I think Hoffman has the save right there if there's not another Indiana State defender.
Yeah, let's take a look at it here. That was... Yeah, just squeaked it in between the defender and the post, but just a great flick on.
Yeah, and that was Audrey Stevens who was standing there in goal, unable to get her head around to make that play. So scoring is opened up now with 6.5 to go. UNI is on the board, up 1-0. Really only enough time for 1, maybe 2 runs in this game. Richards going to send it well past midfield. Here comes the run, but taken away.
Gord coming back on defense to strip that one away. As Wolf brings it up, Indiana State doing anything they can to get a last attack on here, but they're going to have to hurry up, only 30 seconds, and UNI is not going to be quick to give them the ball.
Yeah, not really sure why they aren't going after that ball quickly. Needing to move, 20 seconds to go. 15 seconds. Still waiting for a whistle. They need to move the ball back.
Stop the clock just so that they can move the ball back, but you got to put the ball where the foul happened. Good on the ref.
This is basically going to be a cross here with 13 seconds to go, as it is sent in and in a dangerous spot, still in the box with 8 seconds to go. This one's going to be shot forward, sent out of play, and this is going to end in a 1-1 tie between Indiana State and Northern Iowa. Only the 4th tie between these two teams, but I tell you what, it was a really good matchup there towards the end especially.
It was. Ella Gorey just all over in the second half. Come back on defense to help out, able to get in the box on that corner, get that goal, and just a really well performance from the Sycamores in the second half. They need to pick it up, and, you know, good saves from the goalkeepers.
And the Epic Insurance Epic Player of the game going to be Ella Gorey. She was the one who had that goal to tie things up. Just an opportunist, able to be in the right position at the right time and make a fantastic play.
Very great play from Ella Gorey, but again, the goalkeepers just really shining in this game, although they both gave up a goal. Just a ton of saves from them.
Well, that'll do it. And so for Alan Hellrigel, I am Landon Kleinhofer saying so long from Memorial Stadium in Terre Haute, Indiana, where the final score is a 1-1 draw between Northern Iowa and Indiana State. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Enjoy the rest of the first day of the rest of your life and have a fantastic Sunday afternoon.